You are now tuned in to the GNWY podcast.
What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with GNWY, and we are super excited for our next episode, but then also kind of our first podcast on this set, bro. So I'm excited that you're here. But without further ado, author, writer, what else do you do?
Speaker, and then I'm the creative
community
director.
leader,
Yeah.
all the things, man. Once again, if you could, for the first time, give it up one time for David Skidmore, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes.
It's an honor.
Hey, settle down. Anyway, so man, for one, we were talking a little bit earlier. I do want to get into your book, but this whole color thing is really throwing me off.
Yeah.
And you blew my mind before we even started this. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about, for one, history of Batman, and then we'll get into your book.
Yeah, I'm a huge Batman fan, like especially the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight Rises trilogy, Dark Knight trilogy. So in Batman Begins, he films it mainly with an orange hue in the background.
Okay.
And in Dark Knight, films it with blue. And then Dark Knight Rises kind of mixes.
Okay.
And the idea in it is that blue like creates in somebody's mind, it creates this sense of kind of anxiety, sometimes depression or darkness or dissonance. But orange is a color of hope. And so Batman Begins is this message of hope. And so anyway, that's kind of the backdrop of that, which even, played into the book. So
all right. So you came up with the color of your book and everything based off of Batman?
Yeah.
I'll just play it. But like the color and everything and like what it represents and everything too?
Yeah. Thankfully, some branding experts helped me with that. Nominee, they're amazing. And
heck yeah.
Yeah, they ended up, we were looking at orange or Volt Green, but this color of orange, and they even sent me like psychological studies about how a color makes you feel. Right. And so once I saw it, I was like, okay, that's pretty hard to say no to this cover.
Right.
Yeah.
So you saw it and instantly knew like I'm about to get unstuck with this one. Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah. So the title is Unstuck, Turn Potential into Purpose, which is something that we even believe in, what I'm saying, with GNWY, your purpose. We believe that, your foundation for your future is your why, is your purpose and everything. And so that's why I even was attracted to the book in the beginning. I didn't even know this was yours for a second. And then I seen you at OKC Community and you were talking about it and you walked up on stage with the book and I was like, David, I didn't even know this was you. So I would love to jump into it, man. But before we jump into it, give us a little bit about you, man, and where you come from and what even got you to this point of even wanting to write Unstuck.
Yeah.
I know that's a big
We'll just fly up 60,000 feet. And
there we go.
Mainly grew up in Utah. I was born in Ohio. We lived in Michigan, Missouri, and Utah. So I had to get comfortable early on growing and, being in different places.
What made you move around so much?
Dad was a preacher.
Gosh.
I like to say I survived that. And so, I remember actually my mom gave me a journal when I think I was in third grade.
Okay.
And my first journal post ever. And it was one of those little memo journals, right? And so it said, Dear journal, I hate you, love David. So the idea
Straight
of being
to the point.
Exactly,
Yeah,
very clear, brevity. But the idea of being a writer was not something I was ever interested in.
Really? Wow.
And then that kind of shifted, I think, in my high school years. Okay. And part of it was just I spent a lot of time alone as a high schooler. Even though I had
sports. Were you an only child or
no? But we were living in Utah. I've got two older sisters, and just early on, we weren't really welcomed into the community.
Gotcha.
And so
because y'all were the new people, and
exactly,
stuff?
And kind of maybe some religious differences. I don't
right.
So, kind of showing up there, and I'm playing basketball. I'm doing those different things. But early on, there was a lot of loneliness. And loneliness for me eventually manifested in songwriting and then just other writing. And so that's how I kind of got on that path. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So once you realize that, this is your first book or?
Yeah, first book.
Okay, cool. And then you were saying that kind of even the COVID kind of pushed you and forced you into writing this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to tell a story about the game and everything?
Yeah, I was at the Thunder game.
Yeah.
And some of you were probably at the Thunder game as well.
Yeah.
Some of you may have been watching it. And it was one of those moments that was really weird.
Yeah.
Because they, we're in a pause in the arena for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're not really communicating. They brought the halftime performer out, like they're trying to figure out what to do. Tough job for them. And then, they're like, hey, you're dismissed from the game. And it's like, 16,000 people leave. And it was the weirdest feeling, because anytime you go to an arena, you get a concert, you get a win or a loss. There wasn't anything.
Right.
It just like everybody kind of walked out. You could feel like the tension and dissonance in the air, and it was like, okay, everything's going to change. And so
did they give you any direction on like why they're stopping it, or is it just?
I don't even know if they said COVID,
right? Because
they were really trying to be low key about it,
right?
So what I did is I knew where this was going. Like, if we're going to cancel an NBA game, they're going to cancel the NBA season.
Right.
It was just, okay, so that's what's coming up.
So you're preparing for the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that moment was actually what kind of, I believe, tipped everything in America, because, like, after that, March Madness shut down. After that, like, businesses started doing things different. Okay, so I'm in this position. I'm like, what am I going to do? So the first thing I did, I didn't tell you about this. The first thing I did is I'm a single guy.
Okay.
And so
shout out to all, anyway,
all the single people out there. Yeah. Shout out.
He's an author, all right? Big time author. So
the first thing I did is I went and I bought $70 worth of rice and beans. Because I was like, man, if everybody,
we're getting trapped in here.
If everybody goes for the food, I will have food during COVID.
Rice and beans.
Yes, because it's not going to go bad.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. So that was number one. Yeah. And the second thing, I got home and I was like, what am I going to do? And I knew, okay, so like people remember coronavirus in certain iterations. In the first, people usually talk about as Tiger King.
Right.
I never saw Tiger King.
I started still to this day?
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I started. I got like 3 minutes, but the thing was, I knew he's
an American hero. You need to watch it.
We got different definitions of hero. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
Okay. So that's the beginning.
Yeah. So I knew at this point that if
it's all over,
I was like, I will either sit at home by myself, and just binge watch Netflix,
right,
to the point where I'm brain dead, or like I've got to have a project,
of course.
And so I had been just kind of writing some different stuff at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to write a book. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to turn this in. And the next day I get an email from Nominee Design, and they were like, we'll do your branding free if you'll give half of it away to the community.
Wow. And
so I was like, all right, cool, let's do that. So I get on the phone with Matt Stansberry.
Yeah.
He likes
Is that a local
this project. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're just, I mean, they're amazing at what they do, and
he's
so,
not just saying this is a legit.
Yeah, it's just a gorgeous design, and but the entire experience of being able to walk with that through them, and they were able to really push back on me and say, hey, I think you're probably like, that's a little bit outside of where you should be, even color schemes, things like that. Like, so having experts at,
it even feels nice.
It does feel nice.
There's something about it, not even just saying that. It does feel good.
So for me, it was like, I want to do this project, but then when I really got to the heart of it, I wanted the project to do something that would impact people.
Right.
And as I was looking, the one thing that I was pretty sure of is that through COVID, a lot of people are going to feel stuck.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that, it was going to be this collective sense of feeling stuck at home.
Right.
And then some people are going to feel stuck without a job. And then people are going to feel stuck in their job. And then, people are going to feel stuck in like, hey, I've always had a dream. Like, how do I step out? Like,
right.
And so in this, it was like, okay, what are we really doing? And Nominee helped me see like, what this really is at its core is it's taking potential, because everybody's got potential,
right?
Like probably way more potential than you think that you have, right?
Definitely.
Everybody has potential, but taking that potential and actually turning it into purpose, and to do that in a pandemic is something that's going to take a lot of focus. So that's really what this is it helps people clarify their vision, commit to a path, and then create the results that they want.
I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
And was all of this like just kind of ideas that came to you, or were you like going through something even yourself that you were like, I gotta, even write to David in a couple years type thing?
Yeah. Okay. So it's several of those things. First off, I had done some coaching of leaders a few years ago, and I ran a thing called Lion Leader, which, by the way, the theme song from that is on the album that's coming out with the book. I guess by the time everybody's watching this, it's going to be out. But that's a song that Cadence originally wrote, and then Be Less jumped on that as well. But Lion Leader was something for me where I took those principles and I put it here.
Gotcha.
So like clarify your vision. That's what we were always focused on. Commit to a path, create those results that you want. Because a lot of people end up living not by design, they end up living by default.
Jeez.
You want to create something that's going to matter. You want to create impact.
Right.
That's got to be purposeful.
That's good.
And so that was part of it. But second part was this, is I knew, and I actually didn't know how much I was going to run into it. Like, I had to run into my own tapes, my own fears in this book. And I even talk about it in there, about like the feeling of, if you talk about writing something, it's always cool. The moment you step out, like you can write a blog, you can take it down. You put this in paperback, it's, you can order it on Amazon forever.
No taking it back.
So for me, there was like a sense in every step of it of just feeling vulnerability. And I remember one point, I walked by my computer for 3 days. And I was like, I'm not depressed. Like, why am I not writing? Like 3 days in.
Right.
And I realized I was just scared.
Wow.
Because if I kept going, then I was going to put myself up for critique, I could be in the reviews, like people are going to hate this, like all of those things that I think any creative actually feels.
Definitely.
Of like, I don't know if this is going to work. And finally I had to just face that, reach out to some people and say, this is where I'm at. And, that's one of the big things. We get stuck alone, but we get unstuck together.
Is that a line from the book?
Yeah, it's in there.
That's huge, man. Especially like you're saying for a creative, because like everything that you produce or anything that you put out or writing anything that comes from you. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you're gonna like struggle with. I mean, I definitely struggle with that even to this. You know what I'm saying? Like anything we put out, even somebody's dances or something, you know what I'm saying? But it's the video or something, and we produce it or something like that, and it's like, we're up for critique on anything. And so, but you know what I'm saying? You've been given the gift to actually impact somebody's life. So it's like you either hold it in or you get unstuck and let the words flow. Yes. Yeah. That's what's up, man. So, so be sure to check out his book, Unstuck. And it's already out, yes, on everything?
It's out, yeah. You can pick it up Amazon. Check it out on my website. But if you
What's
want
the
to
website
copy
they
really
can
quick,
find it?
davidskidmore.org.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
And then you can also get the music. And we got it's an inspirational album. So what we did is we took every chapter title, and we turned it into a song title.
I listened to a couple. I'm not gonna lie, that Bullseye is fire.
And he took all of the concepts of that chapter and put it into a song, because some people don't read. Right? Yeah, so what we want to do ultimately is help people get unstuck.
Right.
So, I mean, basically, this is something you can do waking up. This is something you can listen to in the gym. But, I mean,
so
Sean
you're saying
Johnson,
they listened to or they read the chapter, and they took all the aspects from that chapter and then put them into each song?
Yes.
That's tight.
Yeah, so it's 10 chapters, 10 songs, same titles all the way through.
That's dope. And you're on it too, right?
I am, yeah.
Let the people know. He's on it.
And so, we got Cadence is rapping on it, and he produced the entire project.
Wow.
JB, Les, Be Less, let's see, Sean Johnson, Dylan Chase. It just ended up being some of the songs that those guys ended up doing just unreal.
Right.
And so I think that for somebody who does feel that, and you need to get motivated, it's going to help you clarify and start moving forward.
That's tight. Not a whole lot of people do a book and then an album with that. So that's a really dope concept. You just thought of like, hey, this would be a cool idea to put an album with a book and stuff.
Yeah. I'm a big believer that vision drives ideas. And I think sometimes ideas unfortunately drive vision, right? So somebody's like, hey, I got this idea, so we should just do this. It's like, hold on, like come back to the foundation. What's the vision?
Right.
And the vision is get people unstuck.
Yeah.
And help people turn potential into purpose. So, okay, we can put that into a book. We can do that in audio book. We can do that in like online coaching courses. We can do all of that, but like, where are people?
Yeah.
And I think like, especially now when it's heavy, like giving people music that's going to, it's going to be gritty, but it's going to inspire hope too.
Definitely.
Let's get that in front of people, and
I like that.
Yeah,
that's tight. Because even you were saying it's like people don't read that much, so it's like if you don't read, we got an album for you,
right?
You know what I'm saying? If you don't listen to music that much, we got a book for you.
Yeah,
that's smart, man.
Yeah.
I like that. That's innovative with all the rollout. You know, I like that. I respect that. So anyway, don't forget, go check out his book, davidskidmore.org.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then let's jump into your Hope Culture thing. You're a part of Hope Culture, and then also SALT, but we'll that's a whole nother conversation. You can hear over that too. But Hope Culture, man, tell them a little bit about what that's doing for the community right now.
Yeah,
and where the idea kind of came from.
The idea came from a group of diverse guys. Yeah, and I don't just mean like in our skin color. I mean like diverse backgrounds, all of that, getting together at a table. And talking about like what does it look like to impact lives, and out of that, this idea was born. And I think what it comes down to is there's culture is always important, and sometimes like do it for the culture, or like you got in Miami heat culture, that's known for the hustle and the standard that you're held to. So the question comes up like, if what we really want this city to be about is hope, what does that look like for us to create a culture of hope? Wow. And we just happen to have one of the people in the room is Vernon D's incredible designer, And so, this is one of our jackets right here. And that Vernon can create something like that. Cool. Like, I just loved it.
Is that reflective?
It is,
I'm a detailed person, my man. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's super tight.
And then, we got a couple musicians, but also like community builders in that too.
All of those guys are community leaders, man. That's super dope.
Yeah. And then, so I think, whether it's business connections, whatever it is, like everybody kind of coming together around that idea and that concept is really where this was born. Yeah. And so the focus in that is first and foremost to really build a culture of hope. Right. And this is really just a flag that people wear.
That's tight.
Yeah, like this is the kind of place that we want to be, where everybody has an opportunity, where hope is shared with everybody. And then beyond that, where profits are turned back and provide opportunity within the community, whether that's specifically through a nonprofit like the Bridge Impact Center, YFC, or maybe it's entrepreneurial startups.
Right. Yeah, man, that's super dope. So you're saying a percentage of the clothing that is bought.
50% goes back.
Okay, 50%. That's amazing. That's awesome. Some people do smaller percent, or like Tom's, how they do a pair, but like that's tight. So is there a certain thing that y'all, or project that y'all are working on currently to help build at the moment, or is it kind of just still spread out, or what's that look like?
Yeah, I think that some of those we've got a couple that have been cooking for a while, but in COVID they got put on pause.
Gotcha.
Just trying to work with local schools, do some stuff there to help out. So, not knowing when things are going to roll back up again. Right. We'll kind of see how that one plays out at this point.
Whenever I heard at SALT, remind me the other guy's name that was talking about Hope Culture.
Was it Michael?
Probably.
Michael Carnuccio. Yeah.
Other white dude.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So he was talking about just like the struggle of what they've seen that even inspired Hope Culture as well, to be able to pour back into the community and everything. What was that like? All of y'all's heart that's where y'all kind of connected in the same area kind of thing? Or I'm trying to get like even more so of a deeper concept of like where the hope culture and then even giving back 50% came from, because not a whole lot of people are doing that. So like for y'all to actually, you know, come together on a unified mindset to be like, you know, this is something we can pour into, but then also see our creative ways and our platforms and everything unite, and then be able to pour back into the community, you know. Not a whole lot. You don't see a whole lot of people doing that. So, what was that kind of mission at the beginning?
Yeah, I think what it really boils down to is seeing there's a lot of potential in people throughout the city.
Yeah,
and a lot of that potential is underfunded.
Definitely.
And so, how do we start shifting resources? Yep. And how do we leverage what we have? Which is kind of what it ultimately goes down to, is how do you leverage what you have for other people?
Yeah.
And I think if we start doing that, then we build hope.
Definitely.
And part of it comes down from this, it's a social science concept, and this is crazy. Like you're just going to get lit up on this. Social science says that you got 40% of people that are on, or 45% of people that are on one side and 45% of people that are on the other, you know, on basically any topic.
Okay.
And usually where change happens, it takes 10% to tip culture.
Wow.
And so instead of like, okay, how do we create a culture of hope? It's the idea of, well, we don't have to hit 50% of our city. We need to impact 10% of our city. And if 10% really buy in and believe in this hope culture, and in permeating everything with that, you can start doing something.
Wow.
I think then like the rising tide raises all ships.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's really good. That's awesome. I love it. So even with okay, so like I was saying, the SALT thing, and you said Michael, that's
Michael Carniccio,
okay, gotcha.
CEO at SALT. Yep.
Yeah, and so he was talking at SALT, but tell us a little bit about your position within SALT and kind of what SALT is for the community and business leaders on the entrepreneurial side, but then also people who are already in a business as well.
Yeah, so SALT stands for Salt Night Leadership Training. And the big idea of it
the man is a part of a lot in the community, so y'all need to get tapped in for real.
So SALT, like the big concept of it is that wherever you are, like you're positioned there strategically. Yeah. And I think sometimes we're waiting for the promotion. We're waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And SALT's big idea is that like God has sent kids, like his kids, to town to be the change where they are, and to help this really become a place where everybody can thrive.
Yeah.
And so, you know, SALT was born out of a lament of seeing that while we have per capita like the most as far as churches go, right?
Right.
The results as far as health outcomes or education or, you know, other things, like people aren't thriving in Oklahoma. So what does it look like, you know, for people in the business community to start using their influence there? What does it look like for, you know, somebody to actually write policy that would help people flourish in our state? Like, what does it look like for people, you know, and whether you're in music, entertainment, and arts, like whatever you bring to the table, how can we not just like impact one life, but how can we actually shift culture in a city together? And so SALT in many ways impacts, and we were all connected to each other through SALT as far as hope culture goes. So it's that vision and common vision of that. And so I serve as the creative director there.
That's awesome.
I get to kind of be a part of any different type of media that we're rolling out. So like September 19, we're bringing out a 60-minute film that's going to be on network TV. Like, we, you know, launched podcasts this past year, and it's just an ongoing
and that's through
process.
SALT?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome.
So,
dang.
And all of that is really to kindle and fan a hope in people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So everything that you promote, man, is like, you know, everything that we love as well. So like through the hope and through the potential and your purpose. And so I just appreciate you taking your time out of your day to come through, man. What's up? My bad. You gave me the.
So you said you were talking about Batman earlier. Who's your favorite superhero?
I love how you came in like at the end like that. That was tight.
I've been sitting back here, I've been antsy. I wanted to ask it. So who's your favorite superhero?
It's the most serious question we have on this whole podcast.
Man, that is a really good question. Okay, so I would actually say, like, if we're talking on movies, Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy,
of course,
to me is like maybe the top superhero because
exactly.
But I'm starting a fitness competition with some friends and coworkers and stuff, and so the other day I was like, should I go more for Thor or for Captain America? Like as far as like transformation.
Wow.
And
you'd probably look good as Captain America, though. To be honest,
well, thank you
very much. Got the upper body, you know what I'm saying.
I appreciate that, but the votes came back, and Thor won the day. So
really,
so I'm, I got to say, I'm kind of a
Thor fan.
You better
be building it up, though.
Yeah,
I can see
I got a lot
like
of work to do. A lot of work to do.
No.
I could see like the Ragnarok Thor with like the eye patch and everything. You know, I see it.
There you go.
I see it.
There we go.
Yeah,
because I was picturing Justin Wren Thor, long hair, big old beard.
It would not mess with him at all. No.
Right, exactly.
No,
that's what's up. I would agree with the. Are you the same way on the Dark Knight?
Yeah, I love Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight.
When you said Dark Knight,
Batman's
his
great.
face lit up.
Dude, so good.
Yeah, I would say that Christopher Nolan, as far as filmmakers go, while I love the Avengers series, Christopher Nolan is just. To me, he's the most brilliant filmmaker.
Yeah, you got the Dark Knight, Inception, so many great movies.
Did you know that about The Color?
No, I had no idea.
I didn't know that either. That's
no
wild.
Clue.
That is wild. Because now that I see it, like in the first one, even
it's really orange.
Even the cover is like that orange,
and then the cover for the Dark Knight has that like blue hue with the orange outline.
Yep. Wow,
this guy's a genius. That's crazy.
Right. He really thinks about everything.
I just geek out on stuff like Christopher Nolan. So I think I was watching a YouTube interview with him and how they filmed it. And it was
and he explained it through that?
Yeah, it was like,
wow,
man, that's brilliant.
That is super dope. Yeah. That's amazing. We should start doing things based off of how we can make people feel. Let's go deeper, bro.
Oh my gosh, I have a story about this.
That's a crazy idea, right?
So my sister's a teacher, right? And her first year of teaching, she taught in a room that was like all red. And her kids were like
on purpose? She did that on purpose? Oh, okay.
So when she moved into her classroom, the whole classroom was like painted red, and her kids were like out of control. Everybody like was wild, like they're screaming all the time.
For real.
And so during the teacher strike a couple of years ago, her and one of her teacher buddies like painted her whole room blue, and all of a sudden the kids are like well behaved,
calm.
Yeah,
wow.
It's like the amount of like that color has as an influence is amazing, especially as like a motif in film. It's crazy how you can like make people feel a certain way. So
yeah. Dang, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's even like you even see people like base their Instagram feeds off of color, and you know what I'm saying, like you can really see the interaction, even too if like something like because you started doing it too with the covers of our YouTube stuff.
Yes,
and so like it attracts more if there's more like, color within it, or
like so the eye is like trained to like go to something that's not normal. So like there's a YouTube channel that like purposely like upscales the nose on someone's face and like purposely makes the face look wrong, but just wrong enough to where you don't really notice it until you have to look at it. And so your eye's trained to go and look at it, and then you're going to click on the video because it looks interesting. So
wow. So we're going to do something to your nose for this cover. No, but
just like Rudolph this thing.
Right, just slamming into the microphone. No, I'm playing. Anyway, man, for real, I really do appreciate you coming through. Yeah. I don't know if you okay, perfect.
Yeah, we're okay.
I didn't know
COVID shakes.
Yeah. COVID shakes, yes. Yeah. That's actually probably a thing. Like, I don't know. Anyway,
early on, it was like foot tapping.
Foot tapping,
elbow bumps.
Yeah. We did have a Jacob Wells in, and we knee tapped, we knee bumped.
Yeah.
So But yeah, so I appreciate it, man. Don't forget, everybody, go check out Unstuck on davidskidmore.org or on Amazon, on anything. And we could probably even throw it up on our, we're trying to create a library of like people that come through and have books as well. Marcus Black, he has his book on there.
Okay,
so,
cool. Yeah.
Anyway, so go check him out on anything and everything. What's your like Instagram handle and everything?
Yeah, I'm David Skidmore. Just keep it really simple, right?
That's good. Keep it simple. Follow the man on anything and everything. He's really impactful within the community. And if you want to get involved with SALT, they can probably hit you up too. Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Go to SALLT.com. SALLT.
2 L's. 2 L's.
Double
Be
L.
sure to do that. So we appreciate you. Be sure to go on anything and everything. Review, repost, share this, subscribe to it on anything and everything. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Generation Y podcast. We'll see you next time.